What's up, guys? We are back for another Star Wars SH Figuarts review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Last Jedi Luke Skywalker Jedi Exile version. So this is the second costume he wears in the movie as he's sort of training Rey. So it's a web exclusive, it's a Tamashii web exclusive, so it's in one of those enclosed boxes where there's no window, just because that's the thing for web exclusives. It's got that really ugly front. I hate this design for the Star Wars figures. I really dislike what they do with this picture over here, and then the product shot's fine, but for some reason this packaging scheme just really doesn't do it for me. Ultimately, that doesn't really matter because I want the toy that's on the inside. So we've got Luke here on the front, we've got product shot on the side, we've got some more product shots on the back, and a ton of kanji down there, and then the logo on the other side. So let's pull him out and take a closer look. So here he is out of the package, Luke Skywalker himself, and I'm pretty excited to actually look at this figure because I have been really looking forward to an SH Figuarts old Luke. I do like this particular look. I like the outfit, I like the getup, I like the whole thing, but I think I was a little too excited, and we'll talk about that a little more when we get to accessories and the overall package that I ultimately paid quite a bit of money for, honestly, because this is a pretty expensive figure because it was a web exclusive. But we're going to do the normal articulation, paint, sculpt, and that whole deal, and then we'll talk about what else he comes with. As far as articulation goes, we've got a pretty standard Figuarts release here. There's nothing too crazy. You're not really missing anything in terms of what is actually present, but he is rather limited in some ways. So we've got a swiveling head, which surprisingly isn't limited by that cowl at all. Head can go up, head can go down pretty far too. The neck is obviously going to go with it as well. Arms can go all the way out, pretty far up as well. Swivel on the shoulder. We've got standard Figuarts elbow and wrist. Nothing's really encumbered there. We do have a waist twist. We can go backwards, which is going to start to get in the way with that robe. Forward pretty far. Legs can go pretty far out, but again, the robe is going to get in the way. And then the legs kick forward, and his tunic is going to get in the way there. Backwards. Standard Figuarts knee. We do have a thigh cut, so we've got swivel there. And then we've got a standard ankle down here, but it's a little bit hindered. You can't really go too far forward when you try to bend it upwards. And then you got a little bit of a rocker, swivel, and then standard Figuarts toe articulation. So he is basically what I would expect to see, just a little bit on the hindered side when you actually get around to moving some of those joints, but not too bad, especially for what this character is depicted doing in the movie. Now, as far as the overall look and feel of this figure, you know, from a paint sculpt perspective, I really do think they nailed it. I am very happy with how this figure looks. It may not be your Luke, or it may not be, you know, a Luke you want from a specific movie, because The Last Jedi was obviously so divisive with fans. But I can't deny the fact that I really do like this particular look. All of Luke's outfits in The Last Jedi, I'm a fan of. I like Force Projection Luke look. I like this look. I like the Grand Master type robes that he wears. I really dig all of his outfits, and I think they did a good job with this particular look. The arms with the robes, I think, are pretty similar to what we've seen with some of the other Jedi. We've got the frayed edges down there. It looks very old and worn. So I'm pretty used to seeing this type of look with like Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, those figures. The hood is a separate piece because there is a removable aspect here. You have a different hood that we can pop on, and we'll talk about that with accessories. But it just it pegs into his collar, and it's hidden pretty well, I think. The tunic is sculpted nicely. I know a lot of folks thought that this was going to be some sort of soft goods, and it's definitely not, but it very well mimics like a weave pattern with that look. We've got the sculpted belt buckle. We've got see the hood hung down. I think it hangs very well. It looks very realistic there. And then the pants and the boots are pretty standard. Nothing too crazy there, but they've got, you know, a little bit of wrinkle to them, just some texture. And then the boots as well have some texture on them as well to make them look pretty worn. So it's pretty standard stuff. There's not tons of paint on this guy either, at least from the neck down. Pretty standard for a Figuarts though. You know, if they can get away with just casting it and making it look correctly that way, they do it. This robe piece here, the inner robe, I guess, not connected to the body in any way. You could actually remove it, but it does peg onto the back. There's a peg on his back. It just helps to seat it in place a little better. You could remove it, but I'm not sure why you would. It looked very weird. As far as the overall face sculpt goes, this is where I was most concerned before I actually got this figure in hand. It is amazing. This looks perfect to me. I think it looks just like Mark Hamill. I'm very much happy with how it turned out. It's a very solid old Luke figure. The hair is sculpted nicely, a lot of color in there. The beard is very good, some different hues of white and gray, and just the overall kind of scowl, grizzled look that he has is perfect. It's a lot better than I had anticipated based on some original pictures I saw, but the face sculpt is what really does it to me and brings this figure to another level personally. Now, as far as accessories goes, you can see I've kind of changed them out here a bit. We've got a few things already in play. So he comes with an extra set of hands. Yes, that's just one set of hands. So already you can tell that something's kind of weird with this figure, because that's very much a non-Figuarts thing to only have 4 total hands. He has 2 extra hands that are just open palm. One is his gloved hand for the robot hand, and then the other is a degloved hand. So it's just, you know, a standard human hand. And then he has the hood that you pop the one off and it just pegs on. So pop the head off, take the other hood off, and then pop this one on, and you can kind of pose him in the sense that he's, you know, pulling the hood back a bit, which I think is kind of cool. I do like the aspect of having that extra hood, but where this figure really falls short for me is in terms of what else he offers accessory-wise. So all we have as far as the rest of this kit goes is the compass and the kyber crystal necklace that was kind of hyped quite a bit during pre-production. It's got prominent spots in the Last Jedi visual dictionary. You know, the compass takes place in Battlefront 2. I never played the game, but I know what surrounds it. But ultimately, these are really, you know, kind of worthless for me personally. They hold no meaningful value. They are background items at best. The compass is supposed to be the thing that leads Luke to Ahch-To. It was something that Sidious held, Palpatine held for years trying to figure out how to get it. The kyber crystal necklace, you can make him hold it, he can't wear it, and it ultimately has 0 significance. The theory was that this was Vader's kyber crystal, but that's never been proven. It's just a red kyber crystal. It holds no significance for me. At the very least, what I was really expecting was the antenna that he uses to fight off Rey with her staff, and a gripping hand. That would at least be accurate to the movie. You could use him in a slightly action-y type pose, but ultimately these 3 things are never going to appear in my display, and I just don't care for them. I just don't think that they really do anything. They do have some significance, but ultimately it is very small, and especially to me, they don't hold any real value or any real significance on a personal level, although they do have some ties to the figure and of course do appear in the movie. So overall, I've got kind of a like-dislike thing going on with this figure. I really like the figure itself, the action figure portion of it. I like the head sculpt. I like the outfit. I like how they rendered this in 6-inch scale form, well, Figuarts scale form. But what I don't like is, like I mentioned, the accessories. I just find them to be very lacking, and I'm not sure that's really anything Bandai could have done to fix that. Ultimately, they can only give him what corresponds to the figure, what Lucasfilm and Disney will allow to be included as pack-ins, but what he has is really boring, and they really don't do anything. You know, the significance that they have is so minuscule to anything that they're just items that get packed in with him. I really wish that he did have an extra hand that you could put a lightsaber in, just because I want to put a lightsaber in his hand. That's really all it comes down to, and his hands really aren't meant for that. Sure, you could squeeze one in one of those open hands, but it's not meant for that. So that's kind of a letdown for me, but the figure itself is solid. You know, I'm going to have him on a shelf with the other Lukes. He can stand there looking old and bitter, and that'll be okay. I just wish he came with a little bit more, just a little something extra to sweeten the pot. But overall, that's my opinion on this figure for now. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.